Alright, I think we're live. Alright, hello and welcome to my fifth block. We're now on day 6, I think. We skipped yesterday, and trust me guys, I know I skipped yesterday, and I got like 5 messages in my Twitter inbox this morning saying, "You did not put up a video yesterday, mate." And I know, I got you, I know. And I'll just quickly explain why. I came back to Denmark 7 days ago. And I've been working on putting on this YouTube thing, and I've been working on some other coaching things and trying to study more coaching. So I really haven't had the time to sit down and meet my family. And I was gone for 8 months. So yesterday was kind of like an all-around family trip. I started my morning with brunch from my mother's friend, which came early in the morning, really early in the morning. And she came with brunch for us, which was really nice. I've known her since I was 0 years old, and I was living in China. I was made in China. I'm not Chinese, by the way. I don't speak Chinese. I don't speak any Asian language, in case you ever wonder. And it was really nice to meet her, and she's one of my mom's best friends, so we had a good time. And when she was gone, I actually had to quickly start preparing to leave again, because we were going to my grandma, which I was kind of nervous about, because when I left to Korea, I didn't really tell her I'm leaving to Korea until I was standing in the airport, and I was like, yo, I'm going to Korea right now. I don't think she would have agreed under the circumstances by asking, so it's just like, I'm gonna do it. Take it, leave it, or take it. And I kind of brought a lot of troubles upon her that I was kind of thinking she was gonna be mad, but she wasn't mad, so it turned out great. She was really happy to see me. She was happy I was doing well under every circumstance that happened in Korea. And, she was happy I had a good experience and a good trip. And then afterwards, I had to leave to see my aunt, and we spent there until like 10. We came home maybe 11 p.m. and I was really, really tired. And I have 3 daily goals, right? And I managed to do 2 of them, but I didn't manage to make this a YouTube vlog. So today I'm going to try to make 2 YouTube vlogs. It's now 12 p.m. And, I'll make one now, I'll make one in the evening, and both of them are going to be released today, but that's kind of my way of trying to make up for my daily goal slacking off yesterday. And I think you should try to do the same if you have a daily goal, and you don't manage to do it because of some kind of circumstance that it might not be your fault, or it might be that day you need to prioritize something else that's also important. That's fine. I just think it's really important that then the next day, you do double the amount of work. You can't just, okay, well, yesterday this event happened, and thus I didn't have time to make the goal. So today I'm just gonna go back and do my 3 daily goals. No, it's not gonna how it's gonna work. At least not for me. I want to be able to put in that amount of work. And during my school time, which is coming 16th January, there's gonna be a time where I have exams, and during that time it might be difficult to release a vlog every day, but back when that time comes, hopefully I've gotten more used to making these vlogs, and it's less energy consuming, and it's overall, I'm able to produce more content. Maybe I'm doing 2 videos a day, it really just depends. But during that time, if suddenly one day I can't do it, I'll promise you that, the next day we're going to release 2 videos, so 4 videos instead, right? Try and kind of make up for it. But yeah, so today what I wanted to talk about was my time with KappaWolves, and the introduction part was actually really useful because a lot of what happened during KappaWolves regarding me also ended up like becoming a closed issue with my personal life that eventually, kind of disturbed it. But for the people that don't remember, KappaWolves in the beginning when I started coaching was actually also including another coach called Elosul. Ilozul is now coaching B Juniors in HGC right now. And he's a French coach and a mate of mine that I've known for quite a while now. He was on the first team when I started trying to play the game, right before it was picked up by Team Dignitas. And he then also turned into a coach. And he's become rather successful coach now. So I'm happy he's doing good. But yeah, he and me were coaching KappaWolves, which was consistent of Big Impact, Michael Udall, Akaface, Yokai, and Hawkfree. That was the starting roster we played with. And things weren't working out and people weren't progressing enough. We were at like the bottom, top 8, I'd say. And we tried making a roster change. But what happened for me here was that I don't remember if I got kicked out of school or if I quit school, but I ended up going back to my grandma's place. And I was living with my grandma for a couple of years because my mom kicked me out and she didn't like how much time I was spending in video games, and she wanted to focus on being healthy and doing sports and focusing on school and education like everyone else. And that's a long story I don't want to go into, but I was living with my grandma. Now the problem is my grandma was living way out in the countryside with terrible internet connection in a pretty small room right next to the forest, or a house next to the forest. And in this house, if I were to sit and coach an American team during the hours that they have practice, I would be waking up my grandma all the time because the house was too small. And no matter how quiet I was, the PC was actually noisy enough to wake up my grandma. So that wasn't an option. So I had a period of time where I wasn't coaching the team, and I was just, getting the update every day and I was giving my opinion. But we brought on two really experienced players, Beacon and Son. And people remember, these two actually made our team go way up, and I don't think that me not being there, it would have made things better, maybe it would have made things worse, but these two had a lot of experience that they brought in, and the players, they respected that and they listened to their feedback. So when I came back, my role had kind of changed, and while the team were adapting, I didn't manage to adapt at the same time because I wasn't following the team that much anymore. Which is also what kind of eventually led me to quitting that. But we got invited to Esports Arena Land, and I was like, alright, I'm gonna go over to US for a month. We'll live at Sam's place, big impact. And the day I actually flew out of Denmark, they changed the date of the land. I love you, Esports Arena, you've done great, but for me, it was terrible. I spent so much money on going there. I lived at his place for a month, 3 weeks or something. So we could, I could be there for the scrims, I could be there and we could prepare as much as possible and have the highest amount of chance for getting a good result. And getting a good result in Esports Arena was incredibly important for us. We had so many big sponsor talks that were, riding on the fact that we were going to go there and we were going to do well, and then we could continue our talk with these organizations. But unfortunately, the date changed. Now, fortunately for the players, that the old Panda global roster stopped playing together or disbanded or they were kicked, I don't remember, but something happened and they were now looking for a new team. And they picked up the KappaWolves squad right after I left the team and went back to Denmark. And I'm happy for them. But I think it was really nice and quite an experience to see how much can happen in such a short time that you're gone as a coach. You kind of lose your respect because it's a new infrastructure that's starting when you bring on two players, and the entire team was changed so much in this short span of time that I wasn't up to date. And since I wasn't up to date, it was hard for me to do my coaching. I wasn't doing the drafting anymore. I think it was Sam doing the drafting. And I'm not going to talk about who's the better drafter or whatever. But the major role that I had within that team, and this was with Illis gone as well, and I was kind of the only guy, I was doing the coaching, I was doing like a bunch of the managing. We had Mel helping from time to time. She was like the mom of the team, and she was the moral and support, and it was really nice. But everything had changed when I had time to come back. So all I could really sit and do was analyze and bring out the analytical standpoint and try to share them with the team. Or I could, give my input during the draft from time to time. Overall, I think it was a really good experience because I switched from Helium Gaming, a European team, to an American team. And now a lot of people, they might be saying, alright, man, NS was, EU's better, the other way around, I don't really have opinions like that. It doesn't matter for me. I would say that the culture is different in a really interesting way, but there are negatives and good things about it on both sides, to be honest. I think one of the major issues you have is it's not about, how people they are, but the fact that there's so many different countries and there are so many different cultures and so many different personalities, and some countries' culture really clash versus other countries' culture in Europe. And that's one of the pluses in America, is that, everybody, they speak the same language. Everybody kind of have the same culture, and everybody knows, when you're having these daily friendly talks, everybody knows what you're talking about. If you have one of those daily friendly talks in Europe, and you have a guy from Spain, a guy from Sweden, and a guy from France, they're not gonna have a clue what you're talking about, because it's all different chains, it's all different brands, etc., etc., right? So unless you're talking about something really international, this becomes quite difficult. Where in America, on the team, they could talk about everything. It was easier to have a nice and friendly environment going, because, they could talk about this bad internet provider that they all shared, because there are apparently very few internet providers in the US. And they could talk about, the food and everything, because it's all the same chains, right? Besides, I know there's like some fast food chains that are only in a certain state. The only time I've ever been to the US, by the way, was when I visited Biggie's place, and I've never gone there after. And I like the US. I actually thought it was pretty nice. Uh, he lives in California, Southern California, and it was great. It was a bit too hot, but I got to meet all kind of people. I actually got to meet Sam for like 2 minutes, and he didn't recognize who I was. That kind of shows the state of where my coaching was at in that point. But I think it was a good experience, first of all, because it wasn't a professional team. It was an amateur team. So actually, I felt like when I joined in day one, I already had the respect established, kind of. Besides, it was a European, which is a whole other issue. But I had the respect because I had coached two professional teams before. No matter what the duration was, they knew, okay, this guy, he's actually, other professional players, they've accepted him. And if other players have accepted him, we can kind of accept him too. That was my first impression when I joined the roster. It was, okay, I don't need to establish the respect. I've already been given that. So we can just go straight to work, which was really nice. And it was a good environment. I was sitting like 3 a.m. in the hallway of my dorms, on the floor, with a school laptop because I couldn't bring my PC because my roommate was sleeping. And I would sit and watch scrims. And I thought it was great. It's probably the worst environment I've ever been in for coaching, but it was good. I enjoyed it. And they're all really nice players, and I would recommend any of the players any day. They have a good personality. They're strong, really strong players, but I mean, there's a reason why they're still in the top of NA, right? Now, I think something really important I want to talk about in this video, and why it's going to be a bit longer than the usual 10 minutes, is your family and your supportive network. I've had a really hard time as a young teen trying to understand how important my family was, and how much they've given me and how much support they've given me, and your family tunes the kind of person you're going to be, at least your parents, right? And if my parents had raised me in a different way, and they hadn't told me when I was a kid, you can do what you want as long as you work hard for it, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be sitting here. I would never have the goal of esports. I would have followed down, the same career path that my entire family follows. I would go to university right now. And I would never have gotten to experience any of these kind of things. But due to them, and no matter how many difficult times we've been through, and we've been through a lot, trust me, the experience that I have now is extremely valuable to continue on my future and where I want to be. And I would not have been blessed to have a clear goal in front of me that I can continue running if it weren't for my mom or my dad. And they both share it, even though I've never lived with my dad. My dad's been outside of the country for like 21 years. I'm 19. So he's never really lived with me, right? And now my mom for me is like, as much as I hate to admit it, is a pretty good role model. She has suffered from so many different diseases over the years, diseases that she will never get rid of. She started getting PTSD 2 years ago, I think, while I was still living with my mom, and this is gonna get really personal. But she suffers from all kinds of things, and she was never really able to do the things that other parents would do with their kids, and maybe that made me kind of like a jealous kid, but I wouldn't do the same that everyone else did. We couldn't really go to the amusement parks because her back would hurt too much. And it made my childhood extremely, difficult. Not just her being, a single parent, really. but also the fact that her and my mom had a major, her and my dad had a major disagreement when they split up. That means that, either parts really don't like each other. And, if my mom's, if somebody starts talking bad things about your parent, even if it's your other parent, you as a child is probably going to disagree. Or you're going to get mad, or you're going to get hurt, or you don't just want to admit that this might be correct. And my mom was saying things about my dad that I didn't want to admit, and it got us into some really huge disagreements. But I realized later on, and I probably realized when I was alone in Korea with no family at all, that, your family is always going to be there for you. Your family is always going to love you. They're always going to worry about you. But I had been worrying my family, and I am worrying my family for so many years now, that, one of the reasons why I wanted to start this YouTube thing was, I want to be able to support them one day, not the other way around. I don't want to be a burden anymore. I want to carry my own responsibilities. And hopefully when I carry my own responsibilities, I can start helping and supporting my family. And it's not just my mom that's in a really poor state economically. It's also my aunt. And seeing some of the things that our family is having to do right now, it's just, it hurts me inside, People might say, okay, you're a 19-year-old kid, you don't have to carry your responsibilities and you don't have to think about the responsibilities, but I really do, because I think I'm partly to blame for it. Now, happy enough, my mom's got married to a really nice man from Turkey, so we're super international, and they're getting along, and I think my mom's getting better, but at the same time, she's suffering from multiple disease and PTSD. She's not just helping our family mentally and trying to lead her sisters and helping her, which is also in a terrible economical state. She's being like a dog caretaker for adoption dogs and Greeks, which is why we have so many animals in this house. Because she is helping them, and she's going out. She's out right now, which is why I'm talking about this topic right now. She's out there to check a family if that family is acceptable for taking care of her dog. Now, she's doing this volunteer, alright? So she's volunteer, taking her time to check families, etc. She's picking up the dogs in the airport, and she even keeps some of the dogs at home until, that family is ready, or etc., right? So we have 2 dogs in our house, but actually the third dog isn't our dog. It's just a dog that's here until that family, is ready to take the dog back again. And I think that's really admirable, like how many people, when they're at a low point of life, are actually able to continue to support and lead other people. And my mom showed me a great example that, you can do it, no matter how bad things are or how tough your life might be, you can help other people at the same time. And I want to be able to go out there and do the same with my coaching. Maybe not right now, but, in the future, I want to be able to do the same things that she's doing, And I think it's really important, no matter how bad times you have gone through with your family, especially as a person in esports, trying to explain it to your parents, okay, what do you want to be, son? Yeah, I want to play professional video games, mom. She's probably not gonna agree. Like, at first, she's probably not gonna agree. Most professional players will agree with you, or agree with me, that it's gonna be hard in the beginning, but once you succeed, and once you get to a certain level, they're gonna keep being more supportive of you. And trust me, they're probably supportive of you in the beginning. They're probably like, oh, it's nice, my son or my daughter, she have a dream, she have an ambition, and she want to go somewhere towards the top. If you as a parent ever see your kid trying to, do something with their life at such an early age, it's kind of like a blessing, because they start really focusing, and they become really hardworking people towards their dream. They might just not understand what your dream is. It doesn't mean they don't like your dream. But they might, not want you to be a professional poker player because it's kind of risky. And they will continue to do the parenting that they need to do. And so you need to get your education. You need to focus on your education because that's your backup plan. And trust me, I realize by now that having a backup plan is pretty important. I might not be the best example, but what my mom told me is just normal parenting. And when I was a younger teen, I would thought, you know, this is BS. You know, why would she tell me this? I have a clear goal. I have a clear ambition. I'm riding towards the train. Why would she disagree with me? Or why would she try to slow down my train? When it was so clear to me in my head, you know, I'm going to be in esports. This is where I belong. This is where I'm going to be. This isn't just my life. This is my lifestyle. And we got into so many arguments, and I'm sure many other, you know, video gamers, they do too, you know, and generally I think a lot of video gamers, depending on which country you're in, you might be looked down upon, but, and that might be by people that are close to you, people that ain't. If it's people that ain't, first of all, it's really important to realize that, you know, okay, you can ignore those opinions, but for people that are close to you, it's kind of hard to ignore the opinions of your family members, right? No matter how much you might think you hate your family, etc. But overall, I think they're there for you, man. I just wanted to say that. And I wanted to say it to myself because I've also had some times, you know, where I thought my whole family was against me. I thought, you know, okay, you know, my mom, she can do whatever the beep she wants. My dad, you know, he's never been there really. And, you know, I was living with my grandma. And my grandma, she was trying to be supportive of me, but she's not the generation above us. She's 2 generations above us, and she clearly does not understand what I'm doing. She understands I play video games in front of your screen for 10, 15 hours a day, and I clearly weren't making much money by it, so obviously, you know, it's like, okay, she spends a lot of time, he's not making money, he's on different teams, which keeps collapsing, you know. It sounds kind of risky business to her. That's kind of what I get. And I kind of understand it when I look at it from her perspective, why it doesn't make a lot of sense. Because she barely knows how to use Facebook probably, right? That's just the generation gap that we currently have right now in 2016. Is that, you know, the generation above us doesn't necessarily have great technical skills or great technical knowledge. So they probably don't really know the subject that you're going to be talking about with your parents. And I think it's really important if you're a younger person and you want to get into esports, you need to make it clear that your family is your supportive network. Trust me. Those are the people that are going to make you pull through. Those motivating words that you get from them, not your teammates, but from your family, are the motivating words that really means the most. When your mom goes and tells you good job, that's the damn most satisfying thing I've ever felt. Because she rarely tells me good job. And I rarely do things for her. So when that word comes out, it's like the golden word to me, you know. I'm like, Nikolai, you did it, man. You did it. You made your mom proud, you know. She even said good job. My mom probably got proud of other things, but it's not normally something she would tell me. So make sure you have your supportive network close to you. And, you know, if you're in a bad spot right now with any of your family members, you know, go and talk it through. Nobody is like absolutely awful, even if they are absolutely awful. You don't want to have bad connections, right? You want it to at least be, you know, on a downside that it doesn't bother you in your head anymore, so you can focus clearly on competing. Now this video has gone on for like 23 minutes, so I'll stop it now and then I'll see you guys later. But yeah, thanks. Bye.